Have you ever looked at a business and just wondered why some brilliant ideas totally take off while others, well, they just crash and burn? Today, we're going to dig into the secret ingredient. It's about finding an idea that isn't just good on paper, but is a perfect, tailor-made fit for you. I mean, we've all seen it, right? A concept that sounds amazing, a huge potential market, and then, just a couple of years later, poof, it's gone. It's a super common, super frustrating story. So what is the real reason this happens over and over again? Well, the answer, it turns out, is actually pretty personal. An idea usually fails because it's just floating out there in a vacuum. It's completely disconnected from the founder's actual life, their resources, and their unique personality. You gotta ask, what good is the perfect business idea if it's not the perfect idea for you to be running day in and day out? Okay, so if the big problem is that disconnect, the solution has to be about focusing on the most critical and, yeah, subjective part of any successful business, you. Think about it like this. On one side, you've got an idea that's in a vacuum. It's totally detached from your life, it doesn't really match your goals, and eventually, that personal motivation just dries up. But on the other side, you've got an idea that's a real fit for you. It's aligned with who you are, it fits what you actually want to do, and here's the key phrase. It's personally sustainable. That's the one with the energy to grow.
So, the big question is, where do we find these personally aligned ideas? Well, the answer is usually hiding in plain sight. It's in the things you already do just for the fun of it.
And look, this is no exaggeration at all. It might be the single biggest source of business ideas, period. Just think about it for a second. The things you choose to do in your free time, when nobody's telling you what to do, nobody's watching, those are the purest signals of what truly gets you fired up.
Your hobbies are basically a goldmine for a few really important reasons. 1, they show what you're naturally drawn to. 2, they prove what you can do for hours and hours without getting totally burned out. And trust me, that's a critical trait for any founder. And finally, you're often building incredibly valuable skills without even realizing it's happening.
Let's just look at a few huge examples. Take Walt Disney. He just really genuinely loved to sketch and doodle. That simple hobby wasn't just a way to pass the time. It was the tiny seed that grew into a global entertainment empire.
Then you've got Bill Gates. He wasn't sitting in his room trying to build a massive software company. Nope. He was just a kid using programming as a fun hobby to make his boring schoolwork a little more interesting. And that passion for coding, it turned into Microsoft.
Or how about eBay? This one's my favorite. It didn't start with some grand plan for a global marketplace. It started with a really simple problem tied to a hobby. The founder just needed a better way to sell his extra Beanie Babies. Okay, so these stories are obviously amazing, but let's make this practical. How do you start digging for those golden ideas that are buried in your own life? Here's a super simple exercise. It's called Discovering Your Weekend DNA. Don't try to find a hobby. Just get out a piece of paper and write down everything you actually did last weekend. Then, right next to that, make a list of what you wished you'd done. When you look at both lists, you're analyzing your real behavior, and that's where the patterns start to pop out. Those patterns point straight to your real hobbies. But wait, before you run off and quit your job, you need a quick reality check. A hobby is great because you can pick it up and put it down whenever you want. But could you do it all day, every single day? And maybe even more important, could you handle all the other stuff? The marketing, the admin, the emails, the accounting, all the things that have nothing to do with the fun part?
So hobbies are a fantastic starting point. But now let's go a level deeper. We need to look beyond what you do for fun and explore what you truly, deeply care about. This is where passion comes in.
And when we say passion, we're not talking about some vague romantic idea. We're talking about the things that genuinely fill up your headspace, the problems in the world you actually want to fix, the causes you want to get behind, the subjects you're just driven to know everything about. Okay, another quick exercise for you. You can even pause and do this right now. Grab that pen and paper again and just write down the first 5 things that pop into your head that you truly care about. The only rule? No cliches. Friends and family is a given. Be specific. What are the actual topics or causes that get you fired up? So we've got hobbies, what you enjoy doing, and passions, what you really care about. But how do we tie all this together into one simple, powerful idea? We need a way to think about this joyful, obsessive pursuit. The founder of Dropbox, Drew Houston, came up with the absolute perfect metaphor.
He said that watching people chase their real passions reminds him of dogs chasing tennis balls. You know, it doesn't matter if it goes into a lake or over a fence. They will go after it. They're just crazy about it.
And that gives us this really powerful definition. Your tennis ball is that thing, that cause, that activity, that problem that you are just relentlessly, obsessively, and most importantly, joyfully driven to chase after. So that brings us to the single most important question you can ask yourself right now. What's your tennis ball? What is that one thing you would chase no matter what obstacles got in the way? What are you just crazy about? And hey, if you're struggling to answer that, here's another way to get at it. Just ask yourself this: what are you doing when you are the happiest? Think about a time you were just truly, deeply happy. What was going on? The things that bring you the most joy are often the biggest clues. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. We're so often taught that we have to keep our work and our passions separate. But what if that's just wrong? What if the thing you care about most in the world, your tennis ball, is also your single greatest business opportunity?